Hello, scrappy friends. It's Simone. Guess what? I am a guest designer for Feed Your Craft this month. I'm going to work with the Show and Tell kit designed by Brandi Kincaid, and I couldn't be more excited. I so what I am going to do is create a scrapbooking layout with a grid. And I had this idea when I saw this paper several weeks ago, and I pulled it out because I thought this would make such a great, not grid. I wanted to have it similar to maybe you would have a magazine spread, very linear, and very, um, yeah, block stylish. I don't really know how to say it. That was the initial inspiration. And then I took it. I don't know if you could say that this would actually be in a magazine, but that is where my inspiration came from. When I saw this movie night card, I knew this was going to be my, and I thought it was very the contrast between the dark brown wood grain paper and the pink stripe on top was very, very heavy. And so I thought I needed a way to bring the brown onto the card and tie those two together. And I had the idea to stitch. Why not? I was thinking about maybe using my silhouette to cut the title, but I was intrigued by stitching, and so I decided that since, as you can see, the card doesn't cuts off the letters of movie, the night, and the T, M, N, and T, and so I decided to stretch them out and make them whole, and thus connecting the card through the stitching with the background. And that's what I did. So I spent a whole lot of time stitching the title. And since this was going to be a magazine page, I used my typewriter to write my journaling. And I just stuck the card onto some white paper and typed. I made a typo and I used some correction tape to cover it up, and you can't really see it on the card. So then I pulled it back out and I stuck it onto the paper, and this is where I'm at right now. I am measuring, and then I needed this card because I wanted to bring the end down onto the card. And then I completed my stitching. I also added the ticket card there because I also wanted the T to connect. So this is how I thought I would connect the cards together by adding the stitching on top of them, and thus not having such a heavy grid layout. I don't know if I succeeded with this because it's still, you can still see the grid very much so, and I really want and like that. But I thought it would be a little bit more organic, not as static, if this was the connecting factors. So I printed a photo of my sons in sepia. I printed it black and white. And I am having so much trouble with my ATG. I'm sorry that it's in there. I'm just going to leave it in there even if it's occurring again, just because it's going to corrupt the flow of the video if I'm going to cut it all out. So I printed this in sepia, and it worked really well with the warm tones of the whole layout. I love this color combination, the brown, the pink, the orange, and this mustardy yellow. And then I just used, and then so I didn't want the photo to be molding into the background. So I trimmed it down a little, and I used a white cardstock to mat it, so I had a white frame around the photo. Then I also added this popcorn card, and I actually added it upside down because it just looked much better. And then I decided I was going to add, or actually I didn't decide it, that was the plan all along, to add this, to fuzzy cut the TV screen and add HP into the screen. It is Harry Potter. That is what my sons love watching all the time. Whenever we have a rainy day, that's what they pull out and watch. And actually, my other project is also about Harry Potter. So that's a thing in our family. And I'm going to bring the TV screen up with some foam. It's just craft foam that I got at Michael's, and I just cut it down to fit onto the TV, and then I'm adding the TV onto this card. And since my journaling was typed with my typewriter and I didn't know how much space I would need, yes, I could have tested it out first, but I'm not that planned out. I needed something to add to the bottom of the card, and there was this sticker that says scenes from life, I think, and I added that there. So what else? I also brought it up on foam, and then I am thinking about adding those enamel dots, and I'm actually I really like them down here. They work really well next to the sticker, but I'm not so sure about them being on the screen. It looked very empty, but maybe the star would have been enough. And since I had stitched the title, I thought that finishing the layout on the bottom right side with some stitching would work really well. I didn't want to add a lot of stitching anymore, and so I decided to create a template with some grid paper, and I'm actually testing it out before I'm stitching the template. I thought maybe leaving some room between or no room, and I'm going to add some cross stitching here. And so I'm adding my dots, and then I'm going to use that template to create the stitching template. What am I saying? I'm sorry. I was just looking and watching myself being enthralled by, I'm so in love with this person who is doing this amazing stitching here. Yes, I was cutting it down further so that I made sure I wouldn't be right on the edge of one of the, on the photo or on the edge of the mat. That's what I was going to say. You can see how much washi tape I needed and how much thread I needed. For the movie night, I'm not using as much for the crosses that I'm stitching here. And I just really, if I have to tell you, or if you ask me, this is one of my favorite layouts that I created in the past months. Well, no, I really like the other ones too, but I'm just so happy with how this turned out. It's exactly the way I envisioned it in my head, and I love when this happens. I love Feed Your Craft kits, and I couldn't be happier that I was asked to be a guest designer. Check out all the other creative ladies from the Feed Your Craft design team. They have a lot of more inspiration for you, and check out the Feed Your Craft store if they have some kits left. They are amazing. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Until then, bye.